All right, what is up, guys? I'm just going to go ahead and make a quick guide about cannoning, things to know as a cannoneer, things to look for as a cannoneer, things to practice as a cannoneer. So, when you are cannoning, this is a practice cannon, along with some practice cannonballs that I picked up from any guild manager. So you can get them from any guild manager in any town. It is not the guild manager that you buy your traps or annexes or any of that stuff from. It is going to be the regular guild manager where you would buy juice, things of that nature, standard guild supplies. Now, important things to note. To put your cannon down, you just go ahead, you click on it. It's going to ask if you want to install it. You just go ahead and say yes. It'll give you this loading bar. When you're in this animation, there's not really a good way to cancel it. As you can see, I'm spamming escape here. It's just pulling the menu up. So be aware of that. You're not going to be able to just quickly drop a cannon. Couple things to note when you are cannoning, you're going to be, if you're accurate, you're going to be taking pressure from enemies. Now, with that being the case, it takes a Black Spirit's Rage skill to knock you off of this cannon. It is important that when you do have a cannon down, you trap in the area around your cannon so that if someone runs up to you on foot, they're hitting your traps, gives you some advantage, buys you some time so that your cannon defender, if they're not immediately in the area, can get back to you. And also just generally keeps your cannon pressure up because that is your main focus. So in the case that a succession class is hitting you, you have a someone who doesn't know about BSR skills or just isn't using them for some reason on an awakened class because it's not part of their normal kit and they're not smart enough to use them when they need to. Stay on your cannon, because what you can do in this situation, if you have a defender near you, stay on your cannon. Your cannon will take the damage, not you. And then with Node War cannons, what you can do is you can actually go ahead and pick them up. These ones you cannot because they're practice cannons. But with the Node War cannon, so say my cannon got low, you can see my cannon health bar right down here. You can go ahead, jump off of it, put it back in your pocket, and it will put it back at full HP. And then you can just redeploy it. That is important because in Node War, a cannon does take 5 minutes to deploy or to cook in the cannon observatory. So if you ever see people saying cannon ready or we have a cannon cooking, things like that, the cannon observatory is a structure that takes 5 minutes to produce a cannon. You can start it as soon as Node Wars starts, and you can just keep making cannons as long as your cannon observatory is alive and healthy. So to load your cannon, you just hit F5. You're going to get your inventory here. It is important in this situation to make sure that you do not load all of your cannonballs at once because you cannot remove these cannonballs from this cannon. Once this cannon gets destroyed, or if you pick it up, whatever cannonballs were left over are gone. So if I just went here, I hit F, and I just threw all my cannonballs into this thing, it'd be a mistake, right? Because I might not have this cannon the entire time. It's probably going to die in a Node War situation. People don't like when you're cannoning their base because they're very effective at stripping annexes. They're good at keeping people knocked down during ball fights because they CC really well. Things like that to be aware of. You can stop tappers with them. So just be mindful that you do not dump the entirety of your cannonballs into your cannon at once. You want to just throw 5 in there, 10 in there if you're in a really safe spot and you feel comfortable with it. And it's wasteful, honestly, to throw all of them in because what you're going to be running in a real scenario is going to be these crafted cannonballs instead. I don't think I have any in here. Let me just pull up my idle storage real quick. They're going to be these ones. So as you can see here on these in this yellow text, it says when attacking a command post, fort, or annex, this cannonball deals about 30% more than a guild cannonball in damage. So this cannonball is going to be your bread and butter for stripping a base, and these are going to be your bread and butter for killing friends, or killing enemies rather, or your friends too if you have allies and they're pushing a base. The cannon does not discriminate; it just hits everybody except for your own guild. So as you can see, this one puts that area of effect down. It's going to be a little patch of fire. This is why we say to bring purified water, because if that patch of fire is on the ground, it will be doing 100 HP per 3 seconds, and it lasts for 45 seconds. So keep in mind if you see that fire on the ground, you want to run purified water. Just click it off your hotbar. It'll pour it out on the ground, and it will go ahead and put out the fire. That way you're not taking a damage over time effect. You're just standing in your base. Um, Once again, these will be used in Node War instead of any that you purchase. To manufacture these, you can go ahead and get a Siege Workshop. One of the most common ones is going to be in Heidel here. There's one down here, As you can see, Siege Weapon Workshop, it's where you make cannonballs and traps. These traps you do not need to craft. You can just buy those from the guild manager. But cannonballs are going to be very important. So you want to make these flame cannonballs and regular cannonballs. These are going to be your node war cannonballs that you will use. It is important as a cannoneer that you have a big stock of these. I personally have a couple thousand of each just kicking around. So make sure to have these crafting when you're a cannoneer. Make sure you have enough to get you through a node war. And once again, final point on this, make sure you do not load your entire stock of cannonballs into your cannon because it will not last long enough for you to get all those shots off. Now, a couple other things to note. When you're on your cannon, the standard practice here, so say there is a base in this northern position, directly north of us over here where people build, say there's a base up over here. And we're going to be cannoning this guild. So whatever guild it is, doesn't matter. Put your marker down on the base where the tag is. Get it as close to the center of that picture as you can. It'll be like the little emblem, the crest with the guild name and stuff. Put it as close as you can to that marker. This is going to tell you what you need to shoot on your cannon. So if you can see here, there's a number that is 230 right above my cursor. That is the distance that you are from that base. So something to keep in mind in that situation is that you want to be shooting at an angle and a elevation that is conducive to you hitting the base at that 230 meters. Now, the way that most cannoneers will judge their cannon shots is going to be this document right here. This document is going to be used to judge your cannon angle based on your height, the power that you're going to be shooting at, things of that nature. So we are sitting at 230. Our angle of elevation is relatively the same as the guild that we're trying to hit. I'm going to put us at 3 power. We're going to shoot at 55. And we'll see if we can go ahead and get that 230 meter range. As you can tell, about 10 power on a cannon is equivalent to about 10 angle on the, or 10 distance rather. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to shoot angle 3. These are your angles on your cannon, 55. And I'll show you what I mean here with angles. So when you're cannoning, if you hold shift with cannonballs in your cannon, it's going to put you in this aim mode. So this allows you to pivot back and forth. It also allows you to hold shift and press your S key. There are 6 positions on this. This is position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, position 5, and I hit it once already, so 6 total. So this is 0 right here, base. And then once again, it goes flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is maximum angle. So when I say I'm going to be shooting at position 3, I'm going to release my shift key, press it again. This will reset it. I'm going to tap S 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot at about 55 power to see if we can get that 230 meter shot there. With this practice cannon, it will mark on your map where your shot lands, which is really nice. A normal cannon will not do that in Node War, so it is imperative that you have scouts. As you can see, we shot just a little north of our marker, which is fine because we're right on target. This will hit a base. The cannon does have an explosive radius, as you would expect. This will hit structures. This will knock people down. This would be effective for hitting tappers. It's within a couple distance realistically. So keep that in mind. When you get very good at cannoning, you can strip specific structures based on the callouts of your guild. So what you can do is you can go ahead and say like, okay, I want to shoot more for that northwest flame tower, right? So our previous ping was about here. If there's have a flame tower on the northwest side, I'm going to go ahead and reposition myself to here. This is north on the map, as you can see by the compass here, north, yes, okay. So northwest is going to be their top left corner. So we just shot angle 3, 55 power right at the line here. You can see where your line is as far as your ping. I'm going to angle just a little bit to the left, and I'm going to just put it back at angle 3. And the distance that we had on that shot was pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for right about 55 power again and release it. And this should be relatively close to that ping that we just placed, focusing more on that northwest side FT than the previous one. So as you can see, that's basically side by side. That would be hitting that flame tower specifically. Now, if they had a flame tower on their southeast, say it's about here based on node war base size, as you can see, the previous cannon shots right there, that's going to go away in a second. And this is going to be our new target. So this is their southeast flame tower in this example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and once again tap my S key 3 times. I'm going to take a little bit of power off of this. So as we know, roughly 10 power is 10 meters. This is probably about a 15-meter difference. So I'm going to take the power down about 10. I'm going to shoot for 45 and we'll see if we can get in the ballpark here. So once again, resetting, angle 3, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to shoot it for 45 power. And the power bar is just on the bottom there. You can see the bar that when you're holding down your left mouse button and your shift key goes up. And let's see where we land. So as you can see, that's pretty close to that left side flame tower. I could take a little bit more power off. As I said, we were probably about 15 distance off. And you can judge that a little bit more accurately. So we're about 20 off. So 230 was our previous, 210 is the new. So we're about 20 meters off, which means that we need to take it down 20 power. So instead of 55, we should be shooting at 35. That last shot was about 42. So dialing it in that specifically will be when you're a little bit more comfortable. But this is the general gist of cannoning in terms of the mechanical function of a cannon. Another thing that you can do, if you're in a situation where you cannot get back to your cannon, but you want to destroy it, you can click it on the map with a shift click, shift left click rather, and this will say your guild mount will be removed. You can just break your cannons. So I just removed my cannons. As you can see, they break right here. Any cannonballs you have in there at that point will be destroyed, so keep that in mind. And from here, we are free to go build another cannon. Now, you can build one cannon per cannon observatory in Node War, and you can only build a cannon if your cannon observatory is up, remember. So if you have a cannon observatory that got destroyed and you're ready, right? Say I get into position, I'm on this rock up here. Once I get up here, and I want my defense team to put down a cannon observatory because I have a cannon in my pocket and I'm ready to start shooting it. I say, okay, guys, drop a cannon obs, and I'm sitting here ready to go. As long as that cannon obs is building, you can put your cannon down. It does not need to be completed. It just needs to be placed. So all they have to do is open an annex, put a cannon obs down, and build the cannon, and that will allow you to get that cannon placed, and you can start shooting. Cannon uptime is the most important thing, getting as many shots out as possible accurately on a base. That will stop tappers, that'll bleed structures. A cannon can kill flame towers very effectively, as well as recovery centers, things like that. It only takes probably like 5 to 10 shots to kill a flame tower well placed with those gray cannonballs there, the normal ones. Another thing to cover as a cannoneer, and this is a very important function to cover as a cannoneer, is going to be jump gear, jump crystals, jump elixirs. This will be something you hear people talk about when they're talking about cannoning, and what that means is there is gear in the game that can increase your jump height. So, with that being said, let me put these away real quick. The first portion of this, and one of the biggest effects you will have, is the 2-set Talus effect that says jump height up. Let me go ahead. I'm going to move back down. I'm going to get a reference for you guys. So I will jump against this tree with the vine across it. This is going to be your default jump. Let me make sure my crystals are, yeah, let me reset my crystals real quick. This is going to be your jump default. So this is standard jump height in BDO. No jump gear, no crystals, nothing like that. So as you can see, I get just about midway on this circle for gathering the tree here with my head height. Now, Talus gear. Remember, we get that circle about midway. My cursor is right about where my head was before. My head now is going probably right up to about here. Now, the next layer to this, you have your Talus gear. There are crystals that you can run that are called Ascension crystals. These crystals here are jump height up. Does not really matter too much what else you have in your crystal setup. If you want to run these in your actual Node War crystals and you have room for them, go ahead. Some classes really benefit from the Ascension jump crystal setup with the jump height because it changes certain skills, the way they interact. So any skills that involve like a jump movement generally are affected by these crystals. And as you can see, this is our new jump height. So we are well clearing that circle. We're right up to about the top of the fluid collecting circle now. And there is one final layer that we can add on, or 2 more layers rather. The next one is going to be a jump crystal or a jump lightstone setup. So as you can see, this says take off jump height plus 50, move speed plus 2%. This is our jump height now with crystals, Talus gear, and lightstones. These lightstones are very affordable. I'll play that back real quick in case anyone did not see exactly what they were. It is going to be 2 feathers and 2 rush, and this will give you that jump height effect. I do not recommend running this Lightstone setup in Node War unless you are trying to jump. Something like Crocodile's Tooth, Stomping, things like that will be much more effective for you. But in a situation where you are at a place that you are trying to jump up to, just throw this on real quick, jump up to your spot, and then switch back when you're ready to fight again. The final layer to what you can use in Node War to make yourself have a more beneficial jump height is going to be the Soaring Wings Elixir. This elixir is a jump height increase. Just jump height up. There's no hard figures or anything like that. So let me go ahead and show you with the lightstones, the crystals, the gear, and then also the elixir. So this is your final jump height increase that you can get. As you can see, this is a significant increase over the normal jump height. My feet now are landing about where my head was previously. So this can give you quite a bit of an advantageous position in terms of getting to places that you previously were not able to get, that you struggled to get, because that is as important as anything else in cannoning is going to be how annoying it is to kill you off of your cannon. Um, so places that you can get up to, that you can use your jump height crystals to get up to, that you can't normally get up to, are very important to find because not a lot of people will have jump height crystals. So like this tree right here that I just jumped into. Without these jump height crystals, I will show you how that looks if I try to get up there. Let me switch back to all my normal gear. The elixir effect will be on for a minute, so just keep that in mind. I can't do anything about that really. Let me put my normal crystals back on. Took my gear off. Let me change my light stones back. And we will see what my jump height looks like if I want to get up into this tree. So say there's an enemy cannoneer up there and I want to get up to them. This is me doing everything I can outside of class ability movement to jump up to that tree that I just effortlessly vaulted up to and grabbed. So in anti-cannoning and cannoning, jump height gear is so important. One very quick aside, if you are trying to knock someone off of a cannon and they're in a spot like this tree up here that you can't physically get to them, what you can do is just put your weapons away. This is going to be very similar to using a Trina axe, the Trina matchlock that I did just grab, right? Yes, here it is. This Trina matchlock will knock people off of their cannon. So say there was an enemy cannoneer in this tree, what I can do is I can just take my matchlock out, I can shoot them, and it will knock them off of their cannon. If they are on a tree branch or somewhere narrow, that results in them 9 times out of 10 falling down out of that cannon and then out of the tree position that they're in, and then from there you can fight them. Keeping their cannon down as long as possible is the most important thing, and that doesn't necessarily mean just killing it. Make it a pain in the ass for them to get back up to their spot. Because the spots that are tough to get to with jump gear are usually finicky because of the game mechanics in terms of how you can get up to them with the jump gear. It's not perfect. There's not a good lateral movement in the air in this game. So if you can knock them out of their annoying jump base or jump cannon spot, then they're going to have probably a little bit of a rough time getting back up there. And if you're fighting them, they're just not going to be able to do it. So keep that in mind. Jump gear is incredibly important as a cannoneer because it will save you and put you in positions where it is very hard for enemies to stop your cannon. And the name of the game with cannoning is that you are hitting accurate shots for as many rounds as you can possibly get off. You will run through quite a few cannons in a node war. That's natural. But you want to make sure that each one of those cannons goes as far as it can. So find annoying spots, jump around on nodes, practice, go to normal nodes where you're like, we fight on polys all the time, right? So change your node war border here, get an idea of where the node is, and you can look and be like, okay, where are the common base spots, right? So usually someone will build on this mountain base here, someone will build down in this tower base, someone will build back on this ridge base, there's the town base down here, this northwest one to the east side of Looney Cabin. There's one over here that people build. There's one down here. There's the base that we usually build. There's this base, that base. Just practice cannoning and finding annoying spots to hit these bases. I can provide you with base locations that are common on nodes if you need them. Just shoot me a message and I can draw you up some maps. I scout bases pretty often. So I will have that handy pretty easily and I can give you guys an idea of where bases are, and then from there, you can just get that practice cannon from the guild manager and just go practice shooting. Go run around. If you're bored, find base or cannon locations that you think would be annoying to get into. Throw your jump gear on, climb up trees, climb on rocks. Like it's a good way. It's a different way to play the game too. To just kind of see what you can do with the terrain and the environment. A lot of these trees are fake. You can't actually get into them. or interact with them. You fall through some of them, things like that. So that's important things to know if you're trying to cannon, because getting that cannon out of the base and up as fast as possible is really important. But yeah, that's the gist of cannoning. I will link to this spreadsheet and let you know if you have any questions or anything, you can shoot me a message. This is a rough sketch, obviously getting comfortable with base locations, what the distance is on those bases. Adding height into this equation also changes the equation of how far you need to shoot, what angle you need to shoot at. If you're at a higher base location shooting at the same distance, you want to obviously add more angle so your cannonball flies further up and not so far forward, because it will naturally have that forward momentum from the height that you're shooting at instead. So you want to add a little bit more lift into it to shorten the distance that it'll travel. So things like that to keep in mind. Just practicing and practicing is going to be your best bet. And that is going to be the end of this cannon explanation, though. I appreciate your time, guys. If you stayed through the whole thing, feel free to shoot me a message if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that. And I hope to see you guys around.